So in the continuation to the previous classes, previously we have discussed how to get to the nature of the various stresses being catered by the payment slab, the nature, and now the thing is to calculate the values for various sort of stresses. So while looking out at the values, so firstly discussing about the load stresses, means magnitude of wheel load stresses. It was given by Westergaard's analysis and was thoroughly empirical. Gave the following relations to calculate the value for the values of load stresses at interior, at edge, at corner. So I am writing those values. Just write the empirical relations. So magnitude of wheel load stresses at interior. Certain terminologies will be new to this at interior, and which I will cover after writing this formula. So the value for wheel load stresses when the location of the load is the interior, and that is given by 0.316 P divided by H square 4 log 10 L by B plus 1.069. So this was given by the Westergaard to calculate the value of stress, wheel load stress at interior location of loading, 0.316 P by H square 4 log 10 L by B plus 1.069. Others are constant. The value, what is P, what is H, what is L, what is B will I will write in the next thing. I will make it clear what these terms actually means to. Second thing in consideration is at edge. If you have to calculate the value of load stress when the load is put on the edge of the payment slab, and the value given by the Westergaard is 0.572 P divided by H square bracket 4 log 10 4 log to the base 10 L by B plus 0.359, and the last term when to calculate the value of load stress caused by the wheel load when applied at the corner of slab, at corner of the slab, as given by the Westergaard is 3 times P by H square 3 times P by H square bracket 1 minus A root 2 divided by L raised to the power of 0.6. A root 2 by L raised to the power of 0.6. Complete empirical. The thing which is based here are the stress and strain relationship because of the thermocouples being introduced below the payment slab, and the stresses are actually based on the strains being observed through the strain gauges within that section. So after calculating the strain, some relations are being evaluated, and those relations are here for calculating the magnitude of wheel load stresses. Some terms are here like PH, LB and A, 5 terms. So let me make it clear what these 5 terms actually means to. So the terminologies for these is E. What can be E? What can be H? What can be A? What can be L? Or what can be B? Others are constants. So E is having the similar thing which is referred as the modulus of elasticity. Modulus of elasticity of slab, concrete slab. H is the thickness of the payment slab. H is what? H is thickness of pavement slab. And what is this A? A is having the similar notation. It is the radius of wheel load. It is the radius of wheel load. Now the two different new terminologies. What are these values? What are these terms? L, and what is this actually? B. These two have been referred as L is the radius of relative stiffness. Radius of relative stiffness. We'll make it clear what is it. And second is B is equivalent radius of resisting section. B is named as equivalent radius of resisting section. These two also get their own empirical formulas, and those formulas are here. L is equivalent to EHQ divided by 12K 1 minus mu square raised to the power of 1 by 4. E similar elasticity, H pavement thickness, K and mu I am writing here what K and mu actually means to. So two new terms are here. What is K and what is mu? So you are familiar with K. K is what? K is modulus of subgrade reaction. Modulus of subgrade reaction. And mu is Poisson's ratio. Poisson's ratio of concrete. So formula for L is clear. What is it? I will make it clear what L actually means to. And formula for B. B is equivalent to square root of 1.6 A square plus H square minus 0.675 H, or it will be equals to A. It has got two formulas, root of 1.6 A square plus H square minus 0.675 H, or equals to A. Condition being if the value of radius of wheel load or the pressure under consideration is less than 1.724 times of H pavement thickness, or will be equals to A if the value of A is greater than 1.724 times the value of H. So firstly you have to calculate the value of this thing, H into 1.724. If the value of A is lesser than this value, then use the formula for this to calculate B, and if A is greater than this, then B equals to this. So the formula is also clear. Now the thing is what these two terms actually are. So if I draw a slab, here, and below is, just imagine below is the subgrade soil. This is the slab, in the 3D diagram. This is the slab and this is the soil subgrade. So bottom is the soil subgrade, this is subgrade, and this is CC slab. So if you put a wheel load, over here, then the load will be causing certain sort of bending moment in the slab. Within the slab. So the radius of that area which is effective in resisting that bending moment, the bending moment caused by the wheel load, is referred to as the equivalent radius of resisting section. And similarly, after applying the load, the subgrade slab will be penetrated or being deflecting the subgrade. So the resistance power of the soil subgrade to the applied load or the deflection of the slab is being giving the term as the radius of relative stiffness. Means the amount of soil, the area, the radius of that area of soil which is there to resist the slab deflection. So both the two terms L and B are interrelated to each other, which is basically because of the applied load over the CC slab. When you apply the load, certain bending moment will be caused in the concrete slab. So the radius of that area which is effective in resisting the bending moment is referred as equivalent radius of resisting section, and the radius of that area on the soil subgrade which is effective in resisting the slab deflection is referred as radius of relative stiffness. So I think these terms are clear. Definitions, do I need to write again? Okay, just write the definition of what actually these two things mean. So first is L. L is a relative stiffness. Okay, relative measure or relative term to relative measure of soil. I must write here of L. Okay, relative measure of soil to the resistance offered by subgrade to slab deflection. The thing is very clear. Just hold yourself or anything over a pavement slab. So this is actually resisting the bending moment caused by this load. So radius of that area which is effective in resisting this bending moment within the pavement slab is actually B value, equivalent radius of resisting section. And similarly, after applying the load, the slab will be deflected, and to resist that deflection, the radius of the soil subgrade is referred as radius of relative stiffness. So this is L, and B is what? B is equivalent radius of resisting section. It is radius of slab area, which is effective in resisting bending moment, Okay, so B is related to the pavement and L is related to the soil subgrade, and both the terms are actually because of the applied wheel load. So I think how to calculate the wheel load stresses is clear to you as per Westergaard's. All the terms, all the formulas are being empirical formulae are being told to you with the clarity of the terms being used in the formula. The second sort of stresses are, so where the table, here it is the table. So the first thing, load stresses, how to calculate is clear. Second is warping stresses, and these were given by Bradbury. Bradbury's stress equations, for warping stresses. So again the value will be same, means at top or bottom, as in this table you have write it during day, during night, CT. The formula will be same, the nature will be different. So nature you can take it at plus or minus, but the values, first thing is, as per Bradbury, the values at interior, second thing at edge, and third thing at corner. So at interior, as given by Bradbury, The formula for calculating the warping stress is E modulus of elasticity into alpha, coefficient of thermal expansion, into delta T, change in temperature, divided by 2 bracket Cx plus mu times of Cy divided by 1 minus mu square. So terms E modulus of elasticity, alpha, coefficient of thermal expansion, delta T, temperature differential, to Cx, Cy are two constants, mu is Poisson ratio. Cx and Cy are Bradbury's coefficients. These are calculated as per the charts given in IRC 58, which are basically related to the longitudinal length of the slab under consideration divided by radius of relative stiffness. Means, okay, I can write it here in a brief, that Cx and Cy are functions of Lx, longitudinal length upon radius of relative stiffness, and lateral length Ly upon radius of relative stiffness. So Lx and Ly functions these equations. So this is clear to you. And the second thing is warping stress equation at age. It is E alpha delta T divided by 2 into Cx or, I must write it comma, means or, that is or E alpha delta T divided by 2 into Cy, means independently, calculate independently the value of this, and the value of this, whichever value comes out to be maximum, take that value as the critical stress at age because of the warping conditions. So max of the two. And the third and last is, the terms are no more different terms, and then last is at corner. At corner the stress is given by E into alpha into delta T divided by 3 into 1 minus mu, Poisson's ratio, multiplied by square root of A, radius of wheel load, to radius of relative stiffness. So terms are similar, the value will be given by this. So two sorts of stresses are being completed, the load stresses, the warping stresses. Now the last one is the frictional stresses, how to calculate the value for frictional stresses. So this is the last thing, to calculate the magnitude of frictional stresses. Frictional stresses. Okay, just drawing a slab, and that slab will be making you clear what is going to be there in this. Below, I must write that below this is the soil subgrade, and just name the dimensions. The dimension here, that it is L, and this sort of dimension is say B, and the thickness of the slab, sorry, this will be B, and I have drawn the thickness a much higher value, and this is the width of the slab. So you got the width of the slab, the length of the slab, and you got the height of the slab. So now frictional stress means whether it can be a case of summer season or it can be a case of winter season. So if I am saying like the case of summer season, then the temperature of the environment is higher than the construction temperature of the pavement, the slab will try to expand, but the below subgrade will try to make the slab contract. So frictional stresses I have taken the case of summers. In case of winters it will be tensile. but the derivation part or how to get it is of the similar nature. So contraction means complete slab is going to be this, but the ofference will be away. I can make it like here, at edges will be 0, but here it will be the maximum value. But for an analysis part we make it uniformly, and I can make it like, if it is a half slab means complete slab length, means if I am considering whole length of the slab will move aside, so the stresses will develop in half slab like this, and in other half like this, because if the nature is similar into the whole length, then it will move aside, slab will move aside. So if I am analyzing for the half part, and just making it like this is the stress caused SF because of the contraction in the pavement. So what is here in analysis part of this thing is, one thing will be the frictional resistance, means when the slab is going to be contract, a resistance is being offered by the subgrade soil. So that frictional resistance is being have to be, what will it be? It can be like frictional force, frictional resistance and frictional force you have to equate. If I want to know you about the frictional force being caused, means it will have to be the weight into friction coefficient. If the friction coefficient is say F, weight of the slab will be unit weight gamma into volume. Volume means what? Length of the slab, and you have considered for the analysis half length of the slab, means L by 2 into width B into H, means unit weight into volume, weight into coefficient of friction is the frictional force. This force have to be balanced by the frictional stress developed, means SF, frictional stress developed means SF, that too in the cross section, and in the cross section the value is B into H, that is being spread along the length side, so it will be B into H. So frictional resistance have to be balanced by frictional force in case of evaluating the frictional stresses being developed within the pavement concrete slab during the summer season. So after analyzing these two things, you can get the value of frictional stress SF is equals to F into gamma into L by 2, BH will be cancelled out. So this is how you can make clear the value of calculating the value of frictional stresses in the pavement slab. Similarly, if it is like some sort of contraction joint is like, means analysis of contraction joint and of frictional stresses are of similar nature. The difference is like what? In case of contraction joint, the double bars are placed at the half position of the pavement slab. So the stresses, the frictional force developed here, developed in the half part, is being catered by the double bars placed inside, and that double bars is what? Stress in steel into area. So if case of contraction joint, double bars are provided, then frictional resistance will be what? It will be resistance will be of the double bar, means force in the double bars, means stress in the double bar into area of the double bar. This equals to the frictional resistance, and frictional force will be similar, means F into gamma into L by 2 into B into H. So from here, if you have to calculate the value of sigma st, ast or L, BH, whatever it is, you can calculate. I was just making it like the calculation part is similar. For frictional stress as well as if you have to calculate the length in case of double bars being laid aside like this and that, means the frictional force is registered either by the uniform frictional stresses being developed or by the double bars inside. So in that table, the last calculation was for the frictional stress during summer compression, winter tension. Calculate the value, put here, take the sign, and the maximum negative stress means maximum tensile stress caused is the critical. My today's first appearance to this context was this design philosophy. It was what? Design philosophy was relating to we assume a trial thickness of the pavement and calculate the critical tensile stresses are caused. So those critical tensile stresses must have to be less than flexural tensile strength of the concrete. If it is so, then H, assumed thickness H, is okay. Else go for suitable H modification. Else go for suitable H modification. Okay, so this is design philosophy, how you can get it. So this is all about regarding rigid pavements. One last topic was like design of joints, and the types of joint I have made clear previously, but still I can make you a bit more. Joints, importance of joints and types of joint. Okay, the first thing is types, means joint. It are of two types. It are laid longitudinally and it can be laid transversely. Transverse joints. So means what? For example, these are the two pavement slab. For example, this is the complete pavement slab, and if you have to provide a joint alongside the pavement, you need to knot or you need to tie these two slabs together like this. This is the traffic going on. Then if you are providing a particular joint and are binding these two slabs with the help of some sort of devices, then this sort of joint is referred as longitudinal joint. The traffic is moving in this direction, and similarly, if it is like you have provided traffic is moving in this direction, but you have provided joint perpendicular to the direction of the traffic, then those sort of joint are referred as transverse joint, transverse to the pavement, transverse to the direction of the traffic moving on the road. And if you are tying up or introducing devices of nature in these transverse joint, these devices referred as double bars, then that sort of distinction is referred as transverse joint. So very briefly, longitudinal joint, this is along the pavement direction, along traffic, okay, along traffic movement, but transverse is perpendicular to the traffic movement, perpendicular to traffic movement. Let me make a slab. I have made a road cross section. This is continuing in this direction and is continuing in this direction. So at regular intervals I have introduced that sort of joints, and within the pavement I have introduced this sort of joint. So this is what referred as, and this is what referred as. This is referred as longitudinal joint, and this is referred as transverse joint. The traffic is moving in this direction, so if it is along, this is the joint, this is the traffic, it is along direction, longitudinal joint. If it is perpendicular, traffic is there, joints are here. If it is perpendicular, then the transverse joint. And the devices to knot these joints at regular intervals are referred as these devices are referred as tie bars. These devices are referred as tie bars, and similarly the devices in the transverse joint are referred as dowel bars. So within joints, longitudinal, transverse, tie bars, dowel bars, place of locations. Now the function. The function of longitudinal joint is twofold. First one is shrinkage cracks, to avoid shrinkage cracks plus warping stresses. Shrinkage cracks and warping stresses are absorbed or relieved. You can sort of like are relieved. And transverse joint, it is this is to allow the expansion and contraction. This is to allow the expansion and contraction of the pavement slab if there is a temperature differential between the environment temperature and the temperature of the slab being constructed. So I think this was all about the joints. I have revised it. Previously we have discussed a lot bit. Numericals are not more important regarding this thing. Okay, so this was all about this unit as well as this complete course RC 603. Do solve questions, do solve the concept, do revise the concept, do study. If you are having any sort of problem, do mail me and we'll make a doubt clear on that mails. Okay, all the best.